We mocked his dance moves at our friend's wedding. He smirked, and his revenge had begun. Hello, Reddit. Using a throwaway account because there is absolutely no way I want this tied to my main. I don't even know where to start. I feel like for the past couple of months, I've been in limbo, just floating between guilt, confusion, and fear. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix this. And maybe I don't even deserve to. I swear, I thought it was all in good fun. Just harmless teasing. We were at a wedding, we were a few drinks in, and the whole vibe was lighthearted and fun. It wasn't like we were being mean. It was just a joke, right? That's what I keep telling myself. But now, looking back, I wish I had kept my mouth shut. My husband and I have been married for 4 years. We're both 30, and for the most part, our marriage has always been solid. Like, really solid. He's the kind of man people describe as the nicest guy you'll ever meet. The kind of person who will help you no matter what, even if it's inconvenient for him. It doesn't matter if it's the middle of the night. If you call him and say you need help, he'll be out the door before you even finish your sentence. He's calm, he's steady, and he's kind. The kind of kindness that isn't performative. It's just in him, like second nature. I've always admired that about him. Me, on the other hand? I'm the loud one, the funny one, the jokester. I'm the extrovert to his introvert, the one who pulls him into social situations he'd never voluntarily walk into. And it's always worked for us. It's like we balance each other out. I bring him out of his shell, and he keeps me grounded. So, in my head, I never saw it as meanness when I poked fun at my husband. To me, it was just part of our dynamic, just the way I was, okay? I've always been the funny one, the one who teases, the one who makes jokes at other people's expense, but never in a cruel way. At least that's what I told myself. It was never meant to be serious. And honestly, this wasn't the first time. I've always made fun of my husband, not in a malicious way, but in that, oh my God, babe, you're so embarrassing kind of way. I tease him about how he can't tell a joke properly, about how he takes forever to make a simple decision, or how he somehow always manages to spill something on himself when we eat out. He would usually just smile, shake his head, and let it go. That's just how we were. And maybe that's why I didn't think anything of it when it happened at the wedding. The wedding was for my good friend Ashley and her now husband Ryan. It was one of those ridiculously extravagant weddings. You know, the kind where you take one look at the venue and just know that someone's parents dropped a shit ton of money on it. Everything was perfect, like something straight off a Pinterest board. My husband and I were there along with a bunch of our friends, all seated at the same table. It had been a while since we had all been together like this, so we were catching up, drinking, and just vibing. The atmosphere was lighthearted, and I was feeling good. A few drinks in, a little buzzed, but not wasted. Just in the perfect mood to have fun. Then came the reception. The band was playing, people were on the dance floor, and at some point, my husband got up to dance. Now let me tell you something about my husband. He does not dance. Like, ever. He's not the social type. He's the guy who sits at the table, nurses his drink, and watches while everyone else has fun. So, when he stood up and actually walked onto the dance floor, I was shocked. I think he was a little tipsy. He had been drinking more than usual, which should have been my first clue that maybe I should be paying attention. But instead, I was just amused. And then, he started dancing. It was bad. Painfully bad. My husband dances like someone trying to swat invisible bees away from his face. No rhythm, no coordination, just flailing arms and stiff movements, like a malfunctioning robot that suddenly gained self-awareness but had no idea what to do with its body. At first, I just chuckled under my breath. It was funny, okay? Seeing him so awkward and out of his element was honestly hilarious to me. But then my friends noticed. Before I even knew it, our entire table was laughing. Not just a small, polite chuckle. Full-on, out-loud laughter. Someone even made a joke that he looked like he was having a seizure to the beat, like a glitching NPC in a video game. And I lost it. I was leading the charge, okay? Not gonna lie, I was the loudest one at that table. I was laughing so hard that tears were streaming down my face. I kept pointing at him, nudging my friends, gasping for breath between fits of laughter. I even mocked his stiff movements right there at the table, flailing my arms around like I was malfunctioning too. And in my mind, it was all in good fun. We were just having a laugh, right? It wasn't that deep. It wasn't like I was actually hurting him. But then, my husband turned his head slowly and looked directly at me, and he smirked. Not embarrassed, not angry, not even annoyed, just a smirk. I should have known right then that I had fucked up. But did I? Nope. I barely even thought about it. The wedding went on, we partied, we drank, we danced, and eventually we all went home. It was a good night. Or so I thought. I woke up the next morning with a splitting headache, my mouth dry as hell, and blurry memories of the night before. My body felt like I had been hit by a truck made of vodka and regret. And honestly, I didn't even think about the dancing thing. It wasn't a big deal, right? My husband never brought it up. He didn't mention it. He didn't act weird or distant. He didn't tell me that he was offended or hurt or anything like that. So naturally, I assumed everything was all good. But looking back now, oh, I was so fucking wrong. Life went on normally for about 2 weeks. Then little things started happening. At first I thought my phone was glitching. Notifications would pop up and then disappear. Apps would randomly crash. My screen would freeze for a few seconds before going back to normal. Annoying, but I figured it was just my phone being stupid. Then my work email locked me out. It told me someone had attempted multiple failed logins from different locations, triggering a security freeze. They said it was probably just a bot or a hacking attempt, but still, it freaked me out a little. And then? My friend got a call from her bank. Someone had tried to access her account. They hadn't gotten in, but it was enough for the bank to flag it and tell her to change all her passwords immediately. Weird, right? I thought so too. But then came the moment that really shook me. My best friend Sophie called me out of nowhere, and she was pissed. She kept asking me why I would text something like that, and I was just confused, scrolling through my phone and unable to find the text. I asked her what she was talking about, and then she sent me a screenshot. It was a text from my number. Except I never sent it, and it was something really nasty. It said I never really liked her boyfriend, that she was stupid for staying with him, that he was never going to marry her. And here's the thing. It sounded like me. It sounded like something I would say. And fuck. It was something I had said. In private. When I was gossiping about her. To my husband. Or to some other friends. And that's when the unease really started to set in. Because I realized something was happening. And maybe I should have put the pieces together right then. Maybe I should have thought, oh shit. Because the only significant thing that had happened to me recently was the wedding. And the only significant thing that had happened at the wedding was the thing with my husband. But here's the thing. I never thought of that moment as anything out of the ordinary. Like I said, I teased him before. It was just part of our dynamic. I never thought it was a big deal. Sure, it was in public this time, but still. I just assumed it was one of those moments. So I didn't think about it. I didn't connect the dots. Meanwhile, my husband was off. During all of this, my husband was distant, quieter than usual. I noticed it, of course, but I just chalked it up to work stress. And honestly, I was so stressed with all these other weird things happening that I barely even had time to focus on him. That period was honestly one of the most stressful times of my life. I am still so fucking stressed just thinking about it, I don't even know what to do with myself. But back then, oh my God, it was bad. Like, really bad. Because things spiraled fast. They spiraled so fucking fast. One minute, I was trying to figure out what the hell was going on with my accounts, my friendships, my work, and the weird shit happening around me. And then the next, I came home one day, and my husband was moving out. What the fuck was going on? That was our first argument since the wedding. Like, yeah, he'd been distant. I had noticed that. But I had just chopped it up to work stress. We hadn't argued or anything. It was just a quiet tension that I had chosen to ignore. But that day, when I walked in and saw him packing his shit, oh, we argued. I was bewildered. Shocked. Completely fucking blindsided. I hadn't seen this coming. I hadn't even suspected this. So, obviously I was shook. What the fuck is going on? And that's when he said he was done. He was moving out because he was done. And I was just standing there like, what the fuck do you mean done? That's when he told the teasing. The same teasing I had always done, the same teasing that had been part of our dynamic, had been getting to him. He said it had gotten so bad that he felt like he had lost all love for me, and I just stood there, staring at him, trying to process what the fuck he had just said. Because, what? I had always teased him. Always. He had never said anything about it before. Sure, he'd rolled his eyes or groaned about it, but I thought it was just one of those things. I had never, not once, considered that it was actually hurting him, but now he was saying that it wasn't just teasing, that I had been body shaming him, that I had always preyed on his insecurities without realizing it, that he had tried to tell me before, that he had tried to talk to me, but I hadn't been keen on listening. And honestly, as much as I wanted to argue back and say that's not true, I also had to sit there and really think about it, because fuck. Maybe he was right. Maybe I had been taking it too far. Maybe my jokes weren't as harmless as I thought they were. And the worst part? It was too late. I was crying, begging him not to leave, trying to hold on to him, trying to fix things. But he was done. He left. And that was the beginning of my nightmare. For the next few days, I couldn't even function. I had to call in sick at work because how the fuck was I supposed to sit at a desk and answer emails when my husband had just walked out on me? And of course, during all this, the weird shit kept happening. Emails were still being sent from my account. Weird DMS were going out to my coworkers from my social media. My bank accounts had random login attempts. And then, the moment that finally made me go holy fucking shit, I logged into my Netflix account, and there was a new profile added, a brand new profile sitting right there on the screen. Its name? Dancing King. And I just froze. Because come the fuck on. That wasn't random. That wasn't a coincidence. That was a fucking message. I wasn't an idiot. I knew exactly who had to be behind this. It had to be my husband. Who the fuck else would it be? I confronted him. Over text at first, then over a phone call, and you know what? He sounded confused. Like, genuinely confused. Like he had no idea what I was talking about. I didn't believe him, obviously, but he was so convincing. And then, a couple of days later, I got an email. No name, no subject, just one message. Do you think it was funny? And attached? A video. A high-definition video from the wedding. It showed me. It showed all of us, laughing our asses off at my husband. It showed me mocking him, imitating his stiff movements, pointing at him. It showed us all doubled over in laughter, crying from laughing so hard. At that point, the paranoia had settled in, because who else could it be? It had to be my husband. Who the fuck else would be doing this? Who else would be messing with me? But at the same time, he was still acting so confused. He was talking about divorce, refusing to fix things, refusing to talk things out. And I was hurt. So fucking hurt. Because I love this man with my entire fucking life. I felt like I was losing my goddamn mind. It was like my whole life had collapsed overnight, and I had no idea who to trust, what to do, or how to fix any of it. My husband, my fucking husband, was standing there acting all innocent, telling me he had no clue what I was talking about. And on one hand, I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe that the man I had spent years loving wasn't capable of doing something this calculated, this cruel. But on the other hand, who the fuck else could it be? I mean, come on. The dance? The emails? The Netflix profile? Dancing King? It had to be him. It just had to. But even if I was right, what the hell could I do about it? I had no proof, no concrete evidence, nothing I could take to the police and say, hey, my husband is systematically ruining my life because we made fun of his dancing at our wedding. That sounds fucking insane. I had nothing. So, yeah, I started to spiral. Hard. And just when I thought I had hit rock bottom, life decided I wasn't done falling yet. About 3 weeks later, I lost my job. Just like that. My company flagged my system for suspicious activity. Something about unauthorized access to files I wasn't supposed to have. They had logs, timestamps, digital trails, proof. Except it wasn't fucking mine. The activity was under my credentials, but I didn't do any of it. It didn't matter. The evidence was there, my name was on it, and that was all they needed. They fired me on the spot. I barely had time to process that when a couple days later Sophie called me in hysterics. Her boyfriend had broken up with her because someone sent him an entire trail of texts from her number. Texts she never sent. Texts that apparently proved she was cheating on him. At this point, I was so far past rock bottom, I was basically in hell. I was unemployed. My marriage was in ruins. My best friend's relationship had been blown to fucking pieces. And the worst part? None of this made sense. None of it. But I didn't even have time to think about it because then, I got a call from my landlord. And if you thought everything I had just gone through was the worst of it, you're wrong. My husband, before he moved out, had spoken to the landlord about the lease. He had told me he'd be fine with paying his share until we could figure out the lease renewal. But now my lease renewal was suddenly in question. Why? A background check discrepancy? Something about my credit score dropping overnight. Fraudulent loans taken out in my name. I felt like I had hit some sort of self-destruct button on my life. Like, how the fuck was this happening? Everything was falling apart at the same time. And then I got another email. A single GIF. A loop of Ethan at the wedding, doing that god-awful robotic dance. And beneath it, just 3 words. Who's laughing now? I saw red. I was shaking. I was crying. I was completely fucking done. I called my husband, ex-husband, whatever the fuck he was now. I confronted him, demanded to know what the fuck he was playing at. He played dumb. He said he had no idea what I was talking about, that all of this was tragic and awful, and that I should go to the police, that if I did he would fully cooperate because he had nothing to hide. I mean, what the fuck do you even say to that? He was so convincing, so calm, so normal. And when someone is acting that unfazed, when they seem genuinely shocked at what you're accusing them of, what the hell are you supposed to do? Because I didn't know. I just didn't know. It was like I had pressed a self-destruct button on my life, and now I was watching everything burn, completely powerless to stop it. Then, of course, I get served with divorce papers. Divorce. Just seeing that word on the papers in front of me made me feel like my entire chest was caving in. I mean, I knew it was coming, but that didn't make it any easier. I'm still hurting. God, I'm still fucking hurting. To this very second, I am hurting. I still love this man. I still fucking love him. And that's the worst part, isn't it? Loving someone who doesn't want you anymore, wanting to fix things when they've already checked out. I wanted to work on it. I really wanted to work on things, but he didn't. He just served me with the papers and walked away like none of this ever meant anything, like I didn't mean anything. So yeah, divorce is happening. It's in the works. And I guess that's just it. That's my life now. I don't even know why I'm making this post. I don't even fucking know. Maybe I just needed to get this out of my system because, at this point, I have no one to talk to. I mean, I could talk to my friends, but they all have their own shit going on. My closest friend, Sophie, she's barely keeping it together after her boyfriend broke up with her. She loved him so much, and now she's spiraling. And I can't even dump my problems on her because I'm genuinely worried about her. It's like everyone in my life is falling apart at the same time, and I don't even know how to deal with it. So yeah, I guess that's why I'm here. Whether this is a rant or whatever the fuck this is, I just needed to say it out loud. And then there's the fraudulent loans. Because, losing my husband and my job wasn't enough, right? No. Life had to kick me while I was already face down in the dirt. So I've been trying to clear my name. I pulled my credit reports from all 3 bureaus to see exactly what accounts had been fraudulently opened. Spoiler alert, it was fucking bad. I placed a fraud alert, and I've been considering a credit freeze, because at this point, who the fuck knows what else might happen? I've filed disputes to remove the fraudulent loans. I've reported it to the FTC. I'm in the middle of calling these lenders and telling them these accounts aren't fucking mine. And you know what I get in the mail? A notice about missed payments. Missed fucking payments on a loan I never even fucking took out. Like, what the actual fuck do you mean? How am I supposed to pay for something I didn't even sign up for? How is this even legal? And the worst part? My credit score has tanked. Completely. I'm going to have to move out of my apartment because there's no way I can renew my lease with this mess hanging over me. I don't know what to do. I genuinely don't. I feel like I should be doing something, but I don't even know what the fuck that something is. I'm lost. I'm exhausted. I'm so fucking tired of fighting this uphill battle while everything around me crumbles. And I've been told that this is going to be a long and frustrating process. Like months or years long frustrating, and if that's true, then I don't even know how I'm supposed to get through this. So if anyone has any advice, literally anything, on how to speed this shit up or at least make it bearable, please let me know. Especially if you know how to deal with debt collectors, because I've heard they will start harassing you at some point, and I have zero energy for that shit. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't even know why I'm making this post. But whatever. Update. Hello, Reddit. It's me. Again. Damn, it's been a while, huh? Crazy how my post blew up the way it did. I swear, when I wrote it, I was just screaming into the void, just throwing my emotions out there. It wasn't some calculated thing. I wasn't expecting any attention. But then, boom, my inbox was flooded, the comments section went wild, and suddenly I had people actually asking for updates. And yeah, I got a lot of "you deserved it" comments, which honestly, fair. I mean, I do deserve it, I won't argue. But I also got a ton of really helpful advice, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Even if some of it was stuff I had already done, the fact that people took the time to offer guidance, to reach out at all, meant a lot. It really did. So, here I am, back with an update. I don't know how satisfying it'll be. I don't know if it's the kind of update people want, but this is where I am. It's done. It's finalized. After months of dragging on, it's officially over. I am legally and officially divorced. I hate saying that. I hate thinking about it. I hate knowing that I lost him and that it's all my fault. There's no fixing it, no going back. And that regret? That's something I'll carry with me for a long time. And before anyone asks, do I think he's the one behind all the shit I've been going through? The fraudulent loans? The financial nightmare? Look, I'm about 50 to 60% sure. It just makes sense, right? Who else would have the motivation? Who else would even want to do this to me? It's not like I have a long list of enemies, and the timing was way too convenient. But then, every time I confronted him, he denied it. Convincingly. Like, straight up looked me in the eyes and swore he had nothing to do with it. And part of me still believes him. So, yeah, we're divorced. He's my ex-husband now. And I hate saying that. I moved out of my apartment. Had to. Between the financial mess and the sheer emotional weight of living in that space, I couldn't stay there. So, I moved in with my best friend, Sophie. And well, two deeply depressed people living together, it's not exactly the healthiest situation. We're both just there, existing, surviving, but barely. Neither of us have the energy to clean, so the apartment is a fucking mess. Dishes pile up, laundry stays unfolded. It's like living in a depression nest, and I know it's bad, but I just can't summon the energy to do anything about it. As for my joblessness, yeah, I'm trying, but let me tell you, trying to do something productive while being this mentally drained is fucking impossible. I send out applications, but half-heartedly. I should be putting in way more effort, but most days I can barely get out of bed, let alone sit down and tailor resumes. I know I need to snap out of it. I have to get my shit together. Because my ex, he's already moved the fuck on, like thriving. He got a massive promotion, he's going on vacations, he looks happy. It's like our marriage never even happened. And that fucking stings. So I keep telling myself, I need to move on too. I have to. I'm manifesting better things for myself because I can't keep drowning like this. As for the fraudulent loans, that fucking nightmare. I knew it was going to be a long and frustrating process, but even knowing that, I still wasn't prepared for just how much of a hellscape this has been. I think I've said this before, but so far I've pulled my credit reports from all 3 major bureaus to figure out what accounts were fraudulently opened. I placed a fraud alert. I considered a credit freeze. I filed disputes. I filed an identity theft report with the FTC. I called the lenders to tell them that these accounts weren't mine. And yet, Nothing is fixed. The debt is still on my credit. And now, the collection agencies have started coming after me. Let me tell you, there is nothing more infuriating than having to repeatedly tell some debt collector, "This isn't my debt. I didn't take out this loan. It's under dispute due to identity theft." Over and over and over. Like, bro, I didn't take this loan. I don't owe you shit. And yet, I'm still being hounded, still getting letters about missed payments on a fucking loan that I never took out. And the most annoying part? They're demanding proof that it wasn't me. Like, what? How the fuck am I supposed to prove a negative? It's so exhausting. Just talking about it drains me. The helplessness, the frustration, the sheer fucking mess of it all. It's like I'm stuck in this never-ending spiral, and I hate it. I wish I had some grand, uplifting conclusion for you guys. Some, and now everything's getting better, moment. But the truth is, I'm still in the thick of it. I'm still struggling. I'm still trying to pull myself out of this pit. And some days, I don't know if I can. But I have to. I want to. I keep telling myself that in a few months I'll be in a better place, that I won't feel like this forever, that eventually the dust will settle and I'll finally be able to breathe. I need to believe that. I need to move forward. Because if I don't even want to think about what happens if I don't. So yeah, that's my update. It's messy. It's not fun or dramatic, but it's real. Thank you to everyone who reached out, whether it was to roast me, give me advice, or just tell me to get my shit together. I genuinely appreciate all of it. And maybe one day, when this is all behind me, when I've cleared my name and started to actually live again, I'll come back and give you guys another update. Hopefully next time, it'll actually be good news.